got two lists.
Welcome to the TD Report. I'm your host, David Combs. I'm here with Tony Kennedy. We got South Beach Cody back on the show.
What's going on,
Showrunner.
everybody?
Good to see you, man.
What's up,
How's
y'all?
everybody feeling today?
That's the man,
doing good, man. Hanging in there.
South
We
Beach.
want to thank everybody for joining us today. We're going to get into our mock draft, but literally 2.5 hours ago, big news in the NFL. Coming off the heels of the Eric Bieniemy press conference today, introducing him as the offensive coordinator of the Washington Commanders, news came out, multiple outlets, that Amazon founder Jeff Bezos has hired Allen and Company out of New York brokerage to handle the potential bid for the Washington Commanders. Allen and Company has handled the last two NFL transactions that have occurred. Last two teams that were sold were brokered essentially through Allen and Company as far as being vetted. So with the potential that Jeff Bezos might put in an offer for the Washington Commanders, what do you think, Tony?
I think it's a good thing, because let's be honest. 25 years ago, when Snyder got the team, at the time, most people don't realize that took them to number one value franchise. I think he paid like $750 or $800, like that, and he gained the stadium with it, all that land over there. At the time, the Redskins were what they were called then. They were probably one of the most valued franchises with a rabid fan base out of all sports. So that's why they were saying that the Redskin Cowboy rivalry was so big, is because it takes both sides, and they had it. And this was coming in the heels of the 90s and Gibbs and all that other stuff that was going on. And you so happen to be here in the nation's capital with a big economic boom, and everything was, it was lining perfect. And from that point to right now, it is, they've turned into the Wizards. That's what they've turned into, the Wizards. And it's a shame. I'm a Cowboy fan. I like to see them good because I like the rivalry. It's no fun when a team, Dak Prescott, is 10-2 against the Washington Redskins. That never happened. Think about it. Troy Aikman, Joe Theismann, Roger Staubach, Billy Kilmer. All those quarterbacks were really good. They were never no 10-2 versus damn rivals.
That's true.
That was impossible to happen. For them to play 12 games and he's 10-2 versus them, no, that's not a rivalry.
Yep.
If it's really, when it's back, that's when you're going to see the Redskins going down to Dallas and winning.
And don't
Dallas
forget,
coming up here and winning. Yeah, that's when you know the rivalry's back.
And don't forget, Prescott has missed at least 3 games to injury just against Washington. Because he missed the 2 games this season that he was hurt, that he broke his ankle, because that was the Giants was the first NFC East game, and he got broken ankle.
He missed 2 that year.
And then he missed another one. Let's see, was it this?
He's never missed another one.
He didn't miss one this year?
No. He played the one this year when he got damn rolled over like it was nothing. That was his second loss.
Mm-hmm.
He's only lost twice to them. He's
only
played
lost
every
twice.
game but the year he didn't play. So he's been in the league 7 years, should be 14 games. It's 12 games, 10-2.
Mm-hmm. What do you think, Cody? Potential new ownership for Washington. We are one step closer to that.
I think it's kind of been set in stone for a while that this is who it's going to be and it's going to happen. I just think that the news outlets are reporting on every next step that happens.
Mm-hmm.
This is something that was more than likely going to happen. He wasn't going to deal with it himself.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's great. It's great for the franchise. Get it up out of Dan's hands, get it over to Bezos, have him funnel some of his billions into this thing, and let's get this thing back to where it used to be.
This is going to be very interesting. Again, as I mentioned earlier, the start of the show for the TD Report, Eric Bieniemy was introduced today formally at
Massive.
Commanders Park.
Massive press conference. I loved it.
At Commanders Park. A very big to-do. Pretty much every major outlet covered it. And honestly, this is maybe the second or third time that I've heard Eric Bieniemy speak. And he got the chance today to speak at length. He sounds like a football coach to me.
Man, his energy
is. Guy that was in the interviews. Cody, think about this. Tony,
energy.
If this is the guy that was in the interviews, if this is how he interviewed, I want to talk to the other 17 teams that didn't take this guy as their head coach. Because this guy, okay, I remember, I'm a little older than you, Cody, but I remember when Eric Bieniemy played football. He is not a big dude, and he ran between the tackles. That's how he ran.
He won the national championship the year Cody was born.
Yep. What's that, 1990?
91. That's when, when it, back then. So that's how.
Chuck says, why would Bieniemy take this job when new owners might want to get their own people?
I'll answer that one. Chuck, It's a done deal.
Yeah,
this happened. All of this happened. There's no way that Bieniemy took this job without being pretty sure, getting assurances that Bezos was going to be the owner. Because I'll say this, Jeff Bezos has likely already spoken to Eric Bieniemy about this job here in DC. I think you are looking at the future head coach of your Washington Commanders.
Yeah.
I think he just got introduced at Commanders Park.
And
it's just simply going to be an usher-in effect. They're just simply trying to make it a smooth transition. There's a lot of stuff happening behind the scenes that
we don't know.
A lot of stuff, and I think that's one of them. And there was rumors a couple of weeks ago that came out of potential owners reaching out to coaching options before they've even made the sale or placed their bid on the sale, just to see what was out there and who would be options to come in.
Tony, this is like the number one pick. This is like the guy that's coming out of college who's going to be the number one pick, and he can start talking to teams. They don't know who's drafting him. They don't know who's going to pick. They don't know who's going to draft him. But the top teams can talk to the guy.
Something that's exciting for Washington fans, and you need to pay attention. You remember, you can say Sam Howell is all this, he QB1, he's all that. I am telling you right now, with Washington has what pick, Cody? What pick do they have?
16.
16 pick. With new
after Green Bay.
If here's the thing. You keeping the people where they are. Eric Bieniemy knows offense. He's the offensive coordinator. Okay? Don't be surprised in one or two scenarios. Don't be surprised if they try to get the Richardson kid. And don't be surprised if this guy comes in like the owners for the Suns and said, forget it. I'm new. As soon as he came in, what did that owner do? He went and traded for who he thought could win the championship right now. Folks, let me tell you something. I'm talking to you as a football fan, not as a Cowboy fan. If Jalen Hurts can do what he did with that team in Philly, okay, remember, they lost to the Washington football team. They lost to them, and they got beat bad that game. They were getting beat up and down the field. Now, take out the quarterback and insert Lamar Jackson. They will be odds-on favorites right now to win the NFC. I didn't say win the Super Bowl. I said to win the NFC because you have to look at the division. Look at everybody they're playing against. I am telling you, when you get new ownership, new things happen. And especially if you got somebody like Bezos, one of the richest men in the world, he's not going to be sitting around here, well, we got to wait for this and wait for. When is he waiting for anything?
He ain't going to wait.
Other than this, waiting on everybody to put out their welfare money so he can come over the top and bam and hit you up top of the head. That's the only time he ever waited. He's not going to wait for you, and he definitely not going to take second place to Jerry Jones. He's going to show who is the man. He's not coming in here so Jerry Jones can be, I got all this, and my facilities are good. Man, you lost your mind. He is going to go all out, and wherever they build that stadium,
He's
it's going to
dunking
be the
everybody.
best stadium in the world.
So you factor in a potential purchase of the team north of 6 billion, 7 billion. A new state-of-the-art stadium with a retractable dome will cost no less than 2.75 billion. Up to
My
maybe,
man, Dave, my man is worth $152 billion.
Yeah,
You ain't
no
even
problem.
you ain't even touched a quarter of what he's worth yet.
And here's the best part.
That's just booting up a franchise to be top-notch A1 facilities and everything else. It's not even a quarter of what the man's worth.
He don't need no financing. He can pay cash. He straight.
I mean,
He go to the dealership. And he just pull out the clip. Hey, I got money. I love
easily,
guys. For us as podcasters,
Chuck says if he gets Lamar, he sells out the stadium easily.
Easily, no question.
Every game. That team will be a fan favorite for.
If Lamar Jackson comes to DC, you would think they brought back Marvin Gaye. Old DC. He might bring old DC back.
Hey yo, it's gonna be. I might have to take a long stay back up.
I'll tell you what. I'll say this. I'm gonna say something crazy. Everybody knows that watches this show. I don't actually have a team. I don't.
No.
I used to be a Cowboys fan, and I stopped being a Cowboy fan back in like '95. Okay. If the Washington Commanders sign Lamar Jackson to a long-term deal, I'm becoming a Commanders fan. I'm coming over. I'm joining. I'm gonna be out in the field with Mason Tutty. I'm gonna come out there with Mason Tutty. We're gonna hot stuff. I'm switching. I will join up. Sign me up. If they get Lamar Jackson with that defense, sign me up.
It's a basically right now, short term, they could do the deal this year and keep the defense the same in 23.
Correct.
Okay? Yeah. Now you have to make some adjustments as you go, but that's any team. When you get a star player like that to take you into it, I am telling you,
you can build around that. It's not. You have a plug and play for 2023, but it's about building around that for the future.
Yep. Let's ask another crazy question. Let's ask another crazy question.
Get rid of that name.
To sign Lamar Jackson to a long-term deal, would Deron Payne take a couple of million less?
He wouldn't have to.
2, 3.
He wouldn't have to.
Would he take a few million less?
He wouldn't have to first year.
Honestly, he probably would. And to be completely honest, I think if the pitch is right, you could get him Lamar fully guaranteed for a little less too. Because if you see the offer that was given to him by the Ravens, they only tried to guarantee 155 out of the 230 that they gave him. If
that's
Lamar
not terrible.
It's not. I'm not saying that's a bad offer at all. But if he tries to come over here and we say guaranteed 180 and still offer him 220, that's less money. Or 200 and guaranteed 180. However they want to work it, they can get him more guaranteed and still less of a contract. And then,
so we clear when like I told you last March, when Deshaun Watson set the market, it was chess.
Absolutely.
He got to be at whatever Deshaun Watson is. So you can work backwards and do it.
230.
But
230.
I think for success, Lamar, if somebody listening to this show, the Washington football team has the most weapons and is the most ready to win right now for Lamar Jackson. He can go to Atlanta, it'll be hot and all that other stuff, but he will have to build more. He has a natural, put it like this, him in DC with Gibson and with Robinson is way better than Hurts and Miles and whoever the other running back was. It's not even close. It's not even close because Robinson is better than any. Robinson, we haven't seen him at full strength. Robinson is probably better than every running back that Philly has. Every running back. So, and he's not even, then when you're talking about Gibson will fit into anything with the running back who can actually catch out the backfield dude, they actually when we got to talking about it, I was like, well, it's fantasy. It's actually really makes sense because of what they team and how they are structured. When you look at Terry, you look
Here
at
comes
Dodson,
Tommy.
you look at
Here
Samuel.
comes Tommy. Tom says they can't afford him.
They can afford him. Hey, Tommy, listen, you one of the old heads, and what I will tell you, what I tell old heads, adapt or die. You can keep playing around with just playing with these dudes, or you can come and put the knockout punch in the division and set the tone in the division.
You know what?
Is not coming to see and chill with a regular Joe quarterback. I'm telling you that right now. If you follow Amazon, I don't know if you have an Amazon account. Amazon, they told Amazon you'll never do football. What did they do? You'll never get the NFL, Amazon. What did they do? They went and put one of the biggest packages together and got Thursday Night Football. They told Amazon, oh, you're never going to be able to compete with UPS or FedEx, or you're never going to be able to do this. What do they do now? Everybody's using Amazon. Hell, Amazon is so good that they were ones who did the anti-Semitism stuff, and they said, well, I didn't lose my Amazon account. Let's blame Kyrie. They should have been blaming Amazon, but ain't nobody want to lose their Amazon account. So what are we talking about here, dude? If you're talking about, you want to get rid of Snyder? Well, when you get rid of Snyder, you're going to get a real dude now. This dude is not playing around. And I'm going to tell you who ain't getting good rest right now. It's a dude that lives in urban Texas right now that cannot get good rest right now. And he's going to be trying to get on. Well, we can't let Bezos in. Nah, Jerry. Nah, dude. You got a big dog coming. And you should have known that when you were messing with Danny, that somebody else was going to come. And when he comes, he's not going to be doing this with Ron and it's not. That shit is gone. That is garbage. Let me give you and tell you how garbage they are. 2 years ago, right here this date, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, the Redskins had the second pick. They won the division that year. Every team was sorrier than the Redskins that year. The Redskins won the division. 2 years later, every team has made the playoffs. Every team has won a playoff game. Every single team. So you haven't done anything like that and progressed. I
don't think it
awful.
is. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't necessarily ruin his teams that bad. It ruins teams if they take up that much cap space and they are winning. If he comes in here and they're winning and they're selling out stands and they're selling out tickets in one of the largest stadiums that's been built in the NFL, that's probably going to be seating the most people in this league. It's not bad.
Cody, what's their record of Lamar's there right now?
You sit there and funnel rookies in. You look what we've done with the rookies that we have that you want to keep
record next year, Cody?
So bad.
What's their record next year if they got Lamar starting quarterback?
If we got Lamar, we're winning at least 12 games.
It's a 12-5 season, no question.
Yeah,
because I don't like the schedule, and I think the schedule is really easier than what it looks.
Yeah,
their record would be the same that Philly's record was this year.
Well, I saw the home schedule has come out, or at least they named the teams.
Well, the teams, yeah.
Miami comes here. Not worried about that. Buffalo comes here.
Not worried about them either.
That should be a fun game.
I'm not worried about them either.
I'm not really worrying about them.
No, I'm not worried about them.
I'm gonna say something crazy. The Bills, their window is about to close.
Oh, they wouldn't close.
You could keep rookies for 4 years, actually.
See, so listen, guys, we're gonna move on to the mock draft, but I could not do at least 20 minutes on what just literally just happened, or else we wouldn't be a good podcast.
Listen, dude,
I couldn't do the open and then be like, wait a minute, we forgot about this.
Listen.
It took Eric Bieniemy this takes Eric Bieniemy off the front page of the sports section.
None of us are Cody, Tom, Dev. They're the Redskin fans. Me, you, Jody, we aren't the Redskin fans. But guess
I'm about to switch.
I live here, and I don't. Is it fun? Yeah, that we get the clown, but that's not football, dog. I want the rivalry back.
I'm about to switch.
Pressure on that ass, because guess what? Lamar is going to force you to go do what you need to do. Philly, Giants, Cowboys, because one thing I know about Lamar, that dude right there is that guy. And if you think RG3 changed this program, RG3 did this without a defense.
He's what RG3. Lamar Jackson is what RG3 should have been.
Exactly.
That's basically what he should have been.
I think RG had a better arm.
Stronger arm, but maybe not necessarily better.
Yeah.
That kid had a cannon. I ain't gonna lie. The kid had a cannon. He had a cannon. He didn't have as much wiggle.
Dude,
he didn't have as much wiggle as Lamar does.
Maybe not as many.
But the result.
Maybe not as many as Washington, but at Baylor, that man threw some pretty passes.
Pretty passes.
All right, guys. Let's get to this mock draft. So here's what we're gonna do, folks. We're gonna do the first 10 picks in the draft. Jody is not here. He's working the Ohio State game. He's working the Ohio State game tonight, right?
Yeah, Cody got Cody's picks. I got Jody's picks.
All right, perfect.
So you're gonna start with 10 going back.
Yeah, we're gonna start at number 10. Number 10, Philadelphia has that pick. That's from the New Orleans deal. So what do we have?
Well, you got Fletcher Cox getting up out of there. You got they're losing some interior on the D, and I think they have to replace that immediately. They're getting ready to get into some big trouble when it comes to having to fill that defense and keep some people around.
Who do you like?
So I got them taking Brian Breesy out of Clemson, D tackle.
Okay, Jody has them taking offensive tackle out of Ohio State, Paris Johnson.
Oh, Big Paris. All right.
Yeah, that's what Jody has. Philly taking Paris Johnson.
Okay.
OC. That's out of OSU.
Are they trying to get?
All right, Tony. Who you got? Number 10 pick.
Oh, I didn't pick. I didn't do a mock because I left it to Jody, Cody, and Dev.
Okay. So we'll get Dev's picks when he gets back. If he comes on.
So what we're gonna do is just Jody and Cody's tonight.
Jody versus Cody.
Right.
Number 9 pick goes to the Carolina Panthers, and they need virtually everything. So, what do you think, Cody?
I think Frank is building a decent coaching staff down there. He's going to need a quarterback. They've tried to do everything known to man at the quarterback position when it comes to players already in the league. So I think they should probably take a quarterback in the draft class, and I got them taking CJ Stroud. I mean, the dude has 26.7% rate of perfectly placed passes since 2021. Leads all FBS quarterbacks over the span. So,
well, let's talk about that pick here.
They're taking Stroud there in Carolina.
Let's talk about that here. Stroud is being thought to be going number 2 in the draft. Yeah. Do you have him dropping that far?
Chuck says Stroud. I do. Yeah, I got him going 9.
Chuck agrees. Yep. Hey, Chuck agrees with you. So
I mean, look, I do have 2 trades happening in the top 10, but I didn't include those in this, but I will mention what teams I think will be trading.
No, you don't have to. We're just doing it off of right now. There was no trades. What would you think?
So, what did Jody think about the 9 pick in the draft?
Jody actually had them taking a quarterback. He had them taking Anthony Richardson out of Florida.
That's where I think Anthony Richardson would go.
I got him falling, actually. I think
even further.
I actually had in this first one, I have him going to Washington.
That's what I was going to ask you next. Yeah. Anthony Richardson. Okay, let's talk about this. If Anthony Richardson starts to fall through that first round and gets anywhere near the 13th, 14th, or 15th pick, Washington's got to make a move.
I mean, I just don't. And that's kind of where I was at with it. As I was going down, I'm looking at it, and I get there, and I'm like, all right. I really think they should take a cornerback here. There's a lot of talent on the board. There's a heavy cornerback draft. There's a lot of talent. And I'm looking at Richardson sitting there, and I'm like, you can't pass that up. I mean, I just don't think you can pass it up at that pick because he's gone a couple after. And with just Sam Howell on the roster, unless there's a big move made in free agency to get somebody else in there, you have to take a quarterback.
Can I say something even crazier? Would the New York Jets at 13 consider something like that? Considering where they're sitting right now with Wilson, with Zach Wilson.
No.
There's literally a vote of confidence. You get a vote of confidence on a second-year quarterback like that, as bad as he played.
Oh man, they've had a
You see what I'm saying?
every quarterback they've
The
drafted for the
defense-
past.
The Jets only went 7-10 with half of the
Jets-
decent quarterback play.
The Jets are
could've been-
100% undoubtedly going to free agency for a quarterback this year.
Okay.
The rookies have not worked for them for the past 4 years.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You got to go a different route. I mean, I don't know what else they do here. If they go to another rookie, it clearly they can't develop quarterbacks there with what they have. It just doesn't happen. They need someone with some skill who can get with these tons of rookie talents at skill positions and get something going. So I don't see the Jets getting a quarterback.
So let's talk about the Atlanta Falcons at pick number 8. What do you think about this, Cody?
I actually have
Interesting
this.
thought.
I have this guy higher than almost anyone else I've seen. Harold Perkins Jr., the linebacker at LSU. I'm a big fan of him. I mean, he kind of played like that Micah Parsons type role, like off the ball linebacker. I mean, as a true freshman, he led all Power 5 linebackers, 91% pass rush grade, ranked second among all linebackers, with 18 quarterback knockdowns, sacks, hits. I mean, the kid is. I mean, he's a beast. I think that Atlanta is going to go here. They need a linebacker very bad.
This is amazing.
I mean, very bad.
Crazy.
So
what did Jody think, Tony?
Jody picked the linebacker also, but he picked Tyree Wilson out of Texas Tech.
See, I got him going earlier. That's the only reason why I got Tyree going earlier than that. Yeah.
Okay. Here's an interesting.
This is our 1.0 mock draft first 10. We're going to do the next 10 next week. Kind of get through the first round. By the combine starting, we should be through the first round. We should have 10, and then the last 12.
We've got number 7 here. This is Las Vegas. Now, Las Vegas, interesting situation. They've essentially allowed, they've allowed Derek Carr to make his best deal, get himself out of town. Okay. Last season was a disaster. Plug and play quarterbacks across the league were a disaster. It was a disaster in Washington. It was a disaster with Russell Wilson going to Denver. The situation in Las Vegas, disaster on a plug and play quarterback. So assume that Carr's not your quarterback in Las Vegas. Who's the pick here? Let's go to Jody first. What do you think, Tony? What did Jody have for pick number 7?
Jody had Will Levis, quarterback, Kentucky.
Wow.
I don't think they're going to reach for a quarterback right here.
Okay.
I know that they need one. I think they might really be trying to go after somebody in free agency.
Okay.
And they're the type of team to sit and wait and then try to get somebody. I do think, obviously, who I have them taken here, if they don't take the quarterback, they're going to take one of the second, whoever's best available, or trade up to get whoever's best, depending on where they fall. But I got them taking Joe Alt here, tackle out of Notre Dame. He's a lot higher than I think a lot of other people have him, but the kid's a beast.
Is he physical? Is he nasty, or is he a finesse guy?
91% run blocking grade, led all FBS tackles, 99% pass blocking grade, efficiency score ranked 5th all time with Notre Dame. I mean, the kid he's sure on the tackle. I mean, he's just a wall, and he's just one of those guys that I think he's going to go higher. I mean, if the scouts see what I think I see, I think he'll jump up.
Okay.
It's still early, though, so a lot of shit can change.
Next up on the clock, Los Angeles Rams traded their pick at number 6. That was part of a deal. Detroit would be picking here. Detroit, not a terrible season. They did go 5-12, but their offense was great. I'm thinking they go defense here. What did Jody say, Tony?
Wait, who did Jody have for Vegas?
Jody had for Vegas. He had Will Levis.
Will Levis.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah.
Jody picked Joey Porter Jr., corner from Penn State.
And that was
Okay.
what a lot of people thought, that they needed some corner help. So just in the theme of what we've seen here on the TD Report, we talked about this on draft day 2 years ago. We're going to start seeing a lot more corners getting drafted. And we're starting to see them kind of bubble up into the first round, especially high in the first round. So Joey Porter Jr., let me see, cornerback going to the Detroit Lions.
Yeah.
So what
actually,
do you think about that?
I had Detroit trading here.
Okay.
But I like, again, if they're just taking who's here, I actually have them taking Devon Witherspoon, cornerback out of Illinois. I mean, it's a little early to take a cornerback here, to be completely honest, especially with how deep the draft is with them. But yeah, I mean, they need a cornerback bad. Somebody on the other side of Jeff over there, and yeah, Devon Witherspoon out of Illinois is a good one.
Okay. We're going to move into the top 5 of the draft here. Seattle, as part of the Russell Wilson deal, moves up into the 5 spot. Again, Seattle, not too bad a season. You know, big resurgent year. Resurgent year at quarterback for Geno Smith. He's also looking for a deal. They're trying to work a deal out. I think he's up, right? His deal is up, isn't it? I think they've got to sign him or move him, right?
Yeah.
Who?
Geno Smith.
Yeah, Geno's deal's up.
Yeah, he's a free
Yeah,
agent.
his deal's up. So either he's going to walk and try to find somewhere else, or Seattle is going to try to stick around and stick with him. So let's talk about Seattle here at number 5. Cody, what do you think?
Seattle, this is where actually I had Tyree Wilson going out of Texas Tech.
So this is where you took the linebacker. Okay.
Yeah, they need an edge so bad. And yeah, I think at that point he's at pick 5, he's the best one that's available outside of who I have going at number 1.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they got to take an edge there.
Okay. Hey Tony, what did Jody say?
Miles Murphy, D tackle for Clemson.
Oh, Chuck says that he heard Colts are talking trading his running back. I haven't heard that, but yeah.
Defensive end. Yeah,
Miles
Murphy.
Okay.
That's for pick 4.
What did you say on the trade?
He just said, yeah. Oh, pick 5. Okay. So for the Colts, we got pick 4.
That's right. Pick number 4 to the Colts.
Chuck says he heard that the Colts are talking trading their running back, and if that's the case,
Jonathan Taylor.
And see, the thing is I actually had the Colts trading up to the Bears' number 1 pick for a quarterback, and I'll talk about that when we get there. But if they're drafting within this situation and where they're at right now, I have them taking Caleb Williams at 4.
Who's Caleb Williams?
Quarterback, USC.
Quarterback.
He can't come out. He's ineligible.
Is he?
Yeah, I don't think he's not eligible.
Yeah, he's only a sophomore. I know it feels like he's been there forever, but
I feel like he's been there forever, bro. Is he really ineligible?
He's ineligible. So let's do this. Cody, you think about who you getting. We're gonna skip you in the draft here. We'll go back to that. Joe, what did Jody say, Tony?
Well, I had them trading up anyway.
Bryce Young.
We'll give a trade.
Yeah.
We'll give a trade. Okay.
Bryce Young, quarterback, Alabama.
Yeah, he ain't gonna be there at 4.
He ain't gonna be there at 4, Tony.
Yeah, hell no.
I don't know.
Unless the only way the Colts get him is they're gonna have to move up.
No, I have them trading up to the first spot to get Bryce Young to steal him from Houston.
See what I'm saying? That's the scenario that I think is going to happen. Okay,
Yeah.
My opinion. That's what I think is going to happen. If what happens up at the top of the draft happens, what we think. So we've taken care of the Colts. Now we got the weird spot. We have a team that cannot take a quarterback. Arizona Cardinals picking at number 3. Cody, what's your thoughts on this one?
Number 3 Cardinals. I got them taking Jalen Carter, tackle out of Georgia.
And that's who Jody has.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that match. No, they got 2 spots that match, 1 and 3.
Yep. Okay. We've got the Lovie Smith pick here. Houston Texans picking number 2. They should have been picking number 1, but Lovie Smith decided to win the last game of the season to screw Houston out of the number 1 pick. So if this pick is a bust, if Houston busts out on this pick and the guy that gets picked number 1 is a baller, they're going to blame Lovie Smith for like the next 10 years in Houston.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Who do you think, Cody?
So I have them taking Bryce Young right here.
Okay. Bryce Young, quarterback, Alabama.
Yeah, and Chuck even mentions here, Bryce is so small, though. I think he'll be the 3rd quarterback pick. And I said the same thing. I was like, they're a little bit worried. I mean, 6 foot, 190 pounds, but like,
oof.
They can stock that up a little bit. 6 foot isn't bad, man. There's a ton of quarterbacks that are 6 foot and shorter in the league that have been successful over the past couple years. Not necessarily greats, but definitely successessul. 190, man, they feed that kid this offseason. He's easily going to put on 15 pounds.
Okay.
I mean, so I'm not too worried about that. He can move. So 190, with the way he moves, I think he'll be okay.
You get him an Instagram model. He can take her out to a couple of steak dinners, some lobster. He'll pick up some weight.
Levis Cubetta, and it's funny, man, because I even have it on here. I said it's either between him or Levis, whatever, Will.
Levis, yeah. He
So
has
who's-
CJ Stroud.
But I
Stroud.
just think they're going to go for the more NFL ready option here, and that's Bryce.
So who did Jody take, Tony?
CJ
Stroud, he said.
He took Stroud here.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think this is more, I think Stroud and Young should be gone by the 5th pick, both of them. I just think they'll be gone, except it's really 4 picks because Arizona is not taking a quarterback.
No.
Absolutely not. And I don't think Houston will unless there's a trade. So CJ Stroud for Jody will put him down, quarterback out of Oklahoma State. And by the way, I'm in the tank for both these guys, Stroud and Young, but I really like Stroud. I like his leadership. Devin is going to come on. He's going to talk about, Bryce Young, but
Right.
I just know a little bit more about Stroud, just kind of seeing him and just, seeing him after losses. The way that he handled the loss against Georgia, that's how you want a leader on your team to take a loss. And this is nothing against Brian. This is nothing against Brian Young. Bryce Young, excuse me. I definitely want to see this kid play. Chicago, number 1 pick in the draft. They're back. They're back up at the top of the draft. Let's talk about their recent history. Blew the pick for Pat Mahomes. Had called Pat Mahomes on draft day and told him, according to his dad, we're taking you. Didn't take, and then they traded up and ended up with Mitch Trubisky. Things didn't work out with Mitch Trubisky. Moved up again in the draft to take Justin Fields, and then have essentially ruined his first 2 years of development.
I got to bounce, guys, but I got Chicago taking Will Anderson with the first pick if they don't trade. I got the Colts trading up with them so they can take Bryce Young in front of Houston. But yeah, I got them taking Will Anderson.
Jody has the same thing. All right, Dave, we can talk about this.
I'll catch you guys later.
Thanks, Cody. So TK, I'm going to get this all collated so we can get it up, and we're going to have Cody banner it on the site as we go through the next one. So we're going to do the next one on Monday, right? No, Thursday. No, wait a minute. Today's Thursday. We'll do the next one on Monday.
I know.
Yeah,
these days.
Okay.
When football season's over,
It's crazy. I can barely keep track of what day or week it is. So listen, everyone that joined us today, Chuck, Tommy. Hey, Tommy, as always, we go after it in the meetings. You know what I'm saying? You guys need to see the meetings. We go after it in the meetings, but Tommy is almost always dead on. I disagree with Tommy on one point. I think the way the modern NFL is working, I think you've got to get that quarterback about 17 to 20% of your cap. I think that's what he's going to get. I don't think there's any way around it. So you give him his 22%, and then you back into everything else. I think that's just the best. I think that's the best way of doing business. And listen, this is exactly what Bill Belichick did for years in New England. Did it for years. Pay Tom Brady whatever he wants. You know what I'm saying? Pay him whatever, but everybody else has to take a bit of a cut. Okay, so we're going to move you out of your contract. We're going to get rid of you 2 years before you should be gone, and get somebody younger to take your spot. That's just how it works. So,
Hey, Dave,
I appreciate you guys on this one, man. I appreciate y'all's input.
I think the wild card in the top 10 is that Richardson kid. I don't know. I don't. He came from nowhere, and now
that scares me. That scares me. A kid out of nowhere at quarterback. That scares me. I like a commodity. I like a guy that I've been able to see for a couple of years. I've seen Bryce. I've seen CJ. You see what I'm saying? That's what I like. I like to see a guy for a couple of years. Just Will Levis, Anthony Richardson. I don't know. There's something about something about a long shot or a guy out of nowhere at quarterback. Now, if you told me those guys were 4th or 5th round guys and they snuck up into the 3rd, okay, different story. But sneaking up to the top of the 1st round, that's like something that happens in basketball, Tony. That's hoops. Hey, we saw this kid at a tournament. He put up 55. Hey, he's going to be the number 1 pick in the draft. Okay, but this was interesting. And by the way, guys, this is the first time that we're going to do the whole 1st round. We're going to do the whole 1st round on our mock. We have never done the mock draft for the whole 1st round. So it's going to get real interesting once you get past. We go from pick 11 to pick 20
on Monday.
On Monday, yep.
On Monday, we're gonna go 11 through 20, and
Tennessee,
then remember,
Houston, New York.
Next Thursday is when the combine starts. So that night we'll be able to give you our 21 through 32.
Can't wait. The underwear Olympics, Tony. The underwear Olympics. You could see a guy come out there. Somebody put up a 4.25 as a corner, and people like, hey, give him his money, move him on up.
It may change, but
that's right.
This 1.0, and remember, guys, we're picking based upon where they are right now.
Right now,
no trades,
no trades.
Makes it too confusing. We don't know who's going to get traded up and traded back or this.
I'll tell you what, Chicago better not trade. Chicago better not trade away that pick. They better not trade away Justin Fields. They better not.
They better keep that pick.
They better keep that kid. I think he's legit.
And they better draft. But let's say they fell in love with CJ Stroud, or let's say they fell in love with whatever, and somebody can give them.
Trade with Baltimore. Trade with Baltimore.
Yeah, I mean you could. I said that on one of the blogs today. But Rob,
trade with Baltimore. They
can trade with Baltimore and a player.
It fixes Baltimore's problems. Baltimore thinks Lamar Jackson's a headache. Okay, he's a headache, but he's on a rookie deal. Move him out. Start from the, instead of going in the bushel, start from the tree. Start from the draft. Pick you something off the tree and start over. I can dig that. So listen, we're going to run on this abbreviated edition of the TD Report. I'm your host, David Combs, here with TK, Tony Kennedy. Thanks to all of our texters that joined us. And we're going to bring you picks number 11 to 20 on Monday. Appreciate y'all. Have a great week. Great show, Tony. Good stuff.
All right, bro.
Later.